Right, how are we doing everybody? Welcome to Russell Heritage Golf. Today, joined again with the big man Ron.
Cheers.
And we got a special little treat, something I've been looking forward to, a video that we've been kind of waiting to put together. We've been waiting for one club in particular to put it together, but we've kind of got the best of some of the Japanese golf clubs that are out there, right? So, special treat lined up. Been waiting to do this one. I've been really excited about doing it. So, today we are trying...
Best of Japanese.
Yeah.
Top 4 Japanese brands that here we stock at Midlands Golf.
Yeah.
And they are the SRIXON Z785.
Love it. Yeah, we've tried this one before. I think I reviewed this one last year and liked it a lot.
The TW7, the VX model from HONMA Golf.
Very nice.
Okay.
Lovely.
MIZUNO, the Tour, the JPX 919 Forged Tour model.
Okay. And last but not least.
Yeah, this is MIURA.
Yeah.
And their 501 model.
Yeah, and that's the one that we've been waiting for.
Pure butter knife.
Oh, gorgeous. Now, first thing is all of these are absolutely beautiful looking clubs. It's important to point out that yes, obviously these clubs are designed for the better golfer, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, these are aimed at your purists.
Yeah.
I would definitely categorise them potentially as, like, you know, single figure golfers if we were going to put them into that category.
Yeah. So the basic test that we're going to do today is going to be visually, you know, in terms of which ones we like the look of, which will be obviously always as a preference. How they feel is going to be a big thing. I think that's generally what the better player is looking for when they're hitting it out the centre, or obviously we all hit it off centre, what it's going to feel like. And then we'll kind of have a little look at the data. We'll talk about, or you will talk about, some of the process that the actual clubs go to get to this point of at the pinnacle of the iron forging process. And yeah, look at data and have a little bit of fun trying to hit them.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, right. In my hand, I've got the MIZUNO first, right? I mean, if we're having a look at them, like I said earlier, they all look fantastic. I mean, MIZUNO, what would we be talking about in terms of specifics with this particular model, do you think?
Well, I think if you looked at this model here, this is definitely a kind of model that's used on tour.
Okay.
And I think this is the model that Bruce Koepka won last year with.
Yeah.
So it is a tour-proven, tour-designed golf club.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're getting. It's close to what the actual guys will be using on tour.
On tour.
The average golfer can get a chance to play with.
Okay, so it's a nice looking club. Looks good. A different sort of finish on this one, isn't there, relative to the other ones?
Yeah, it's a little bit more of a satin finish.
Yeah. Which will be up some people's street, not so much maybe others.
That's right. I mean, you know, they're well known for their forging and the grain flow forging process in which they build these irons from a single billet.
Yeah.
So it's as pure a form of forging as you can get. As I say, it's used on tour, and it gives the average guy in the street the opportunity to get custom fitted with the right shaft and grip from MIZUNO to be as near to the tour guy as possible.
Yeah, it's a nice looking club, isn't it? Right. Okay, then we're switching it on to which one?
The MIURA.
Okay.
The NC501.
So this is probably the one that I am probably most excited because I have hit the other ones in the past. This is the one that I've never got my hands on. Personally, aesthetically, just the whole thing. Do you know what I mean? It looks amazing from behind, the top view looks amazing. We'll see how it performs, which I'm guessing it's going to perform well. MIURA has a bit of a reputation of being, well, is it?
Yes, I mean it's a family brand as such, you know, and it's that history of, you know, the father and the sons maintaining the brand's tradition. You know, their tolerance levels almost exceed industry standards. So what you're getting with these clubs from the short iron to the long iron is complete craftsmanship all the way through, from, you know, the forging to the polishing and making this club.
Yes, I think personally, looking at them both at this moment in time, personally I prefer the look of the MIURA as opposed to the MIZUNO. But again, that's a massive preference thing, isn't it? I think it's more the polish of the head, which is probably lending myself more to that decision at the moment. So looks wise, all different. I mean, again,
the forging process behind this is, again, they're using the softest carbon steel available to them. The process from, you know, the shafts, the heads, they're using a laser to line up the seam of the shafts to put them into the heads. The tolerance levels exceed industry standard. You know, they're working to plus or minus 0.5 in the ground.
Yeah.
You know, it's just.
So those are probably the things that, as a user, I'm never really going to know, though. Am I? Maybe.
But if you then looked at and backed it up, that a more mass-produced club may have plus or minus 5 grams difference. That 5 grams or 3 grams smooths the whole swing weight, moves the whole sweet spot on the golf club's head, because they're mass producing them. They haven't got the time or the manpower to kind of weigh and check each loft and lie and swing weight from head to head, whereas this is what you're going to get.
So hence the reason why the cost would start to become more on these.
Yeah, the
process is much more.
Yeah, hands-on.
Okay, so then if we moved up to
SRIXON.
yeah, you kind of got the remaining two. We've obviously got the SRIXON and we've got the HONMA. I mean, which one? Should we start with talking SRIXON?
Yeah, the 785 forged iron.
Yeah.
Shane Lowry, again another one on tour, another tour level performance club.
Yeah.
Recently won with using this particular model.
Yeah.
And, you know, their USP on this is this Tour VT sole. If you look at the underside and on the sole, you know, this is helping improve turf interaction.
Yeah, you could.
Less club twisting during impact.
Yeah.
So multi-sole design, which is their unique selling point.
So I like this one. We tried this last year and it was probably one of my favourite irons of last year. So it'd be interesting again comparing it to maybe more like-minded kind of clubs. And then I suppose the last one to talk about would be the one that's been a new introduction for Midlands Golf this year, which would be the HONMA.
Yeah, HONMA, the TW, the 747, the VX model. Again, a very, very soft forged iron. Again, the process is way up there. They're made in Sakata in Japan, in the factory, where the process again involves a lot of individual man hours on forging the club, polishing the club. They hand roll the shafts again and line the shafts up so that everything is done to the extreme level.
Similar to the MIURA in terms of the attention to detail.
Attention to detail is up there with.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's obviously they're all nice looking golf clubs from the top line at this moment in time, and the general aesthetics is that when they're in the bag. Yeah, I still would personally be looking at the MIURA one, but this is probably up there as well with SRIXON. It's just more the finish on the head on the MIZUNO. Should we have a look and see how they get on?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Okay, right, clarify first, shaft options that we tried in all of these clubs were...
Okay, so really 3 out of the 4 of these had the Modus 120.
Yeah.
And then the other one had the new Elevate shaft.
Which was the MIURA.
Which is now commonly seen in the new Callaway Apex. They've got that in their Pro model.
Yeah.
So we're looking between sort of 115 and 120 grams. They're all virtually, you know, it's a very similar weight issue. So.
And I think what you talk about in the future and what we need to talk about would be shafts, wouldn't it? Because again, that would be where you'd get alternative options in these sort of price range of golf clubs, isn't it, really?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think, you know, if we look at, say, MIZUNO, you know, their retail for their forged iron, you know, it's probably looking at about $899, which is different compared to the MIURA. But for $899, you're getting a kind of a wider spread of shaft options than most of the other manufacturers. Plus, you're getting free grip options. Yeah. So, you know, the $899 comes complete with shafts, grips, the whole works. So it comes into price range where most people can afford that for what they're getting, compared to some of the top ends like the MIURAs and maybe the HONMA, where we're at about the £1,200 mark.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, obviously, should we just talk, we're not going to see much in terms of data, but we can talk about some of the loss in terms of the options, because obviously the interesting thing between two of these is that although they're a club difference, they end up being the same loft. So
yeah, so the HONMA and the MIURA are 30 degrees.
Okay.
So obviously the strongest loft, so we're expecting perhaps the lowest spin on the furthest distance. So with the HONMA, we're 181. 131 ball speed, 7.4 on your spin, and then your MIURA 131.6, exactly the same ball speed, very similar launch point, 0.2 of a degree, 7.5, your 7 spin is exactly the same, and there's 1 yard difference.
Exactly, so it's almost the same in terms of performance.
So, you know.
And then, so what loft was the SRIXON coming out? Because obviously they were 7 irons, weren't they?
Yes, so the SRIXON 7 is 32 degrees.
Yeah.
And the MIZUNO is probably the weakest with 34 degrees.
Okay.
So we'd expect the MIZUNO
to be the weakest one in terms of distance.
Yeah. But this would be somewhere, if we're looking at your launch, which is about 13.7, 13.5 on some of these other models, you know, this is where somebody who wants to bring this spin down, and this is perhaps for another day, if we tour lofted your irons a little bit, we would see the performance catch up with some of the irons. So, you know, where somebody wants to have a little bit less spin, a little bit more ball flight penetration. But
like we saw, we knew when we looked at the data, it's going to be more about feel.
It is. It's all about feel. It's all about the looks, aesthetics. and less about overall kind of numbers.
Yeah, you're just trying to match up shaft and all the rest of it to this. Hey, before we do the review, I absolutely love the opportunity to try these clubs. I think they look fantastic. I think it's so much about a personal preference with these because they all perform very well, as we've seen. Big thanks to Ian Nicholson at Midlands Golf. Gives us the opportunity, as always, to come into the fitting studio. He holds a huge amount of different manufacturers, completely independent, unbiased, you know, absolutely no kind of loyalties, any ties up, anything like that. So it's always based on performance. Definitely recommend coming down and getting a fitting, especially at the sort of outlay of these. And to be honest, just in general now with any golf club, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes a point. If you want to try a couple of different brands on the day, you're getting to try them in the same environment at the same time, put them head to head.
Yeah.
You can check and compare the data. You can have the same shaft in the same head, and you just don't often get the opportunity to be able to try these level of brands in one place.
And this is a great opportunity to find Midlands Golf and come down and give them a try. Right, let's reveal which one we would choose. Okay, so we've hit them, we've looked at them, Ronnie's talked about them, we've studied them. They're definitely things that we're going to talk about again because I do become more and more fascinated about this sort of process. Going to potentially start playing a little bit more golf as well in the foreseeable future, which is good. So I'm starting to kind of, you know, retune my enthusiasm back into clubs, which is why it's a great opportunity to come into Midlands Golf. Great opportunity to talk to Ron. Going to introduce you into Phil, who's the kind of club maker, shaft specialist on site as well, but that will kind of come very soon on the channel. To conclude, really, yeah, I think based on, you know, data, performance, looks, you know, I'm sold basically on the fact that they all feel really good when you hit them out in the middle, inevitably. Do you know what I mean? It's not like one feels miles better than the others, but I would go MIURA. I would go MIURA.
Very interesting indeed. So.
Yeah. I like that. I like the look of it. I'd feel confident with that in my bag. Like, it's not as hard to hit as it looks in so many ways as well. Do you know what I mean?
No, I think you did button that, and I think the guys with the high ball speed, really good striking ability like yourself. I think you get a little bit of a percentage. It just gives you feedback from a club, and something as forged and as pure as that, that's probably what it's giving you feedback to.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And there is forgiveness around it, isn't there? It's still a muscle head, isn't it? So it's not like a pure thing. Anyway, that's me.
Yeah.
What would you choose?
Well, again, hard choice because they're all very, very good, but the winner for me, again on feel and feedback, was the HONMA.
Okay.
So the VX model.
Yeah. I've tried that, didn't we, earlier in the year? I like that a lot as well.
Just great feel.
Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed the video. I think this was very much always going to be about a preference. It's a great opportunity to be able to try these clubs, right? I think that what we do in the future, like you said, is just talk more about different options, talk more about shafting and other things that these companies offer. And if you get the opportunity to try any of these, then I would suggest very much so to do so, because it's an interesting process to go through.
I think if you're buying this top-end Japanese kind of level golf club, I think you have to have the fitting, because within the custom fitting there is another layer upon layer of options that change the performance through the shafts, the grips, and everything else associated with the build.
Yeah, you'd want to make sure you get this thorough. And to be honest with you, with the sort of money that you'd be laying out, you'd want to make sure that you're kind of making this the right sort of decision as well. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Always appreciate a thumbs up and a like. Remember, you press that subscribe button. It's absolutely free to do so. Press the little bell icon, means that you'll see every time there's a new video, me, Ron, coaching, you know, club reviews, going to start seeing what's Phil. So really trying to do everything we can to help you guys improve your golf and improve your knowledge towards golf as well. That's pretty much it. We'll catch up with you again soon.